Welcome to Ruang Didik Podcast, brought to you by Hive Educators. I'm your host, Chiguzel, and today we are going to listen to two teachers, Mr. Syaharil from Sabah and Miss Afiqah from Perak. The two of them will be sharing about their 6-week fellowship experience in the United States as Fulbright TEA Fellows, or TEA stands for Teaching Excellence Achievement. They were part of the fall 2023 cohort. Mr. Syaharil was a fellow at Georgia State University, while Afiqah was a fellow at University of North Carolina. Okay, now before we delve into their experiences, let's have them further introduce themselves. Okay, Syaharil, you may go first.
Hello, everyone. First and foremost, thank you very much for inviting me to participate in this podcast. So, something about myself. My name is Muhammad Syaharil bin Madlan. I'm currently teaching in SMK Pekan Kota Belud, and I'm teaching upper forms this year, Form 4 and Form 5. Yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, Miss Afiqah, it's your turn.
Right. Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you also for the opportunity. I'm Afiqah and I teach at SMK Batumpat Geri, that's in Perak. I've been teaching for, I think, 9 years now, close to 9 years. And I teach Form 4 and Form 5 students, so upper forms too. English, sorry.
All right, thank you for that introduction. Okay, so let's get into the first question, which I'm very excited to know. Okay, so can you share a specific moment or experience during your Fulbright TA fellowship that had a profound impact on your teaching philosophy? Okay, Mr. Sharil, you can go first.
All right. So when I think about that question, there's so much things that are coming into my mind. So I really have to think which one because there are so many like experiences and moments that I wish I could like talk all about them, right, in this podcast. But if I would like to share with you, there's something that has really caught my attention, especially in the program that was given to us in Georgia State University, like the structure of the program, like the team um, of the whole program, which is culturally relevant teaching. So this is something that is new to me. Maybe back in Malaysia, we have something like this that happened in our education system with a different name. But when I listen to this classes, when I sat in these classes and we talk about a lot of issues related to culturally relevant teaching, so it really opened my eyes. And I think this is something that I really want to bring back to my community and talk about it with everyone. Um, yeah, so that's for now.
Okay, thank you for that, Sharil. How about you, Afika?
Right. For me, the most I would say momentous occasion would be having to witness how advanced the incorporation of technology is in the American classrooms and how widely is the integration of AI in the classroom as well. So basically, I think most of us are familiar with this now that we have had some experiences over there is that all classes are mostly conducted um, um, they are run on laptops, everything is online, and because of such approach is I mean that would be I would consider that an inductive approach because for the classes that I got to observe, uh, teachers really liked, I mean, based on my experience, really liked having on the internet the use of different sites and whatever assignment, whatever task students have to do in class are IT based or internet based. So they have to seek for answers online, they have to do independent study online, and they even have to do assignments online. So how widespread the use of technology and how welcoming they are of AI integrated sites, AI integrated assessments um, inspire me, and also it's a wow factor for me.
Okay, yeah, that was quite interesting. For Shairil, I think you talked about culturally relevant teaching. So yeah, and you said that maybe we have something similar but with a different name. But I guess well, from I think as teachers, we often being told that whenever we want to teach, we need to teach according to their own cultural context, right? Like for example, Sharil, you are in Sabah and from Kota Bulut, and I'm sure that there are a lot of races there, like Bajau, Dusun, and all that. So I guess that is where how you can implement or apply this culturally relevant teaching into your classrooms. And you said that you wanted to introduce this to your community, and I do hope that you will introduce this concept as well to other teachers all over Malaysia, because I'm pretty sure that they also want to know what how is this being implemented. Is it similar to what we've been doing, or is it totally different? Yeah, so that I think for me personally, I would like to, if we're gonna do like workshops or online workshops, at least I'm I'm really interested to participate. To be honest, yeah, yeah. All right. So for Africa, and you mentioned that incorporation of tech and AI in the classroom. Yeah, I do believe that in the US they are, of course, more advanced than us, but we can learn from them. And coincidentally, if the two of you have noticed that the KPM has released digital education policy, yeah, I guess this is where your knowledge of what you have been exposed to during the when you went to the US, I guess you can share a bit about how we can further implement, or realizing the strategies that the KPM has outlined in the digital education policy. So I guess you have the advantage there, because you've seen it live, and you wonder how it can be, how you can help other teachers in Malaysia to implement this, right? Yeah. So
True.
yeah, thank you for that sharing. Very interesting. Okay, the second question: how have the teaching methodologies or strategies you encountered during your time in the US influenced or changed the way you approach education in your home country? So, yeah, I'm sure you have been exposed to new methodologies perhaps during your fellowship, and then maybe you have already implement those in your own classroom. Maybe could you share a bit? Okay, Cheryl, you go first.
All right. Yeah, so I would like to continue talking on the cultural relevant teaching that I mentioned before, because I think I haven't really given you like the whole idea what it's all about. Because like I'm so fascinated by it. So in the first few classes when we were at the university, they introduced us the American education system, and because of the diversity in the American society, and that's why culturally relevant teaching is very relevant to their context. And then um, it really made me reflect on our own community here in Sabah, and in the context of like Malaysian communities with our own versions of diversity. So I think and I mean, we always like culture is very important to us Malaysians. When we talk about unity, it is like one of the tool to um create unity among Malaysians. We cherish our like festivals, food, and all of those things. And I think it's always in like blood. Like it's very important to us. It's just that I feel like in our education system, there are a lot of opportunities that have not been explored yet. We are very cultured people, but we don't really talk about that in our education system, especially back in Sabah context. At least, like for example, when we talk about diversity in the Sabahan communities, we have like 30 over ethnic groups with our own cultures, and languages, which I think it is not maybe widely known to people back in the peninsula, for example. So there are lots of bridges that we need to build, and we can use this through education. And that's why I think culturally relevant teaching is like one of the ways to do it. And we need to study it in our classroom, to expose it to our students, and to make them aware that how the cultural identity is very important as part of their learning experiences in school. Um, there's also another thing that is related to culturally relevant teaching that we'd like to talk about, which is like in GSU, we also talk about um, as culturally relevant social emotional teaching. Yeah, so something that is also very close to us when we talk about knowing our own students' background, for example, and trying to incorporate their life, their real life into our teaching. So another aspect of that is the psychological aspect of it. When we talk about their self-awareness, when we talk about their social skills on how they relate to other people in the classroom, people with different cultural background. So that is when social emotional learning is also an important thing. I think we somehow incorporate and talk about this in our classroom, but we maybe can do more about it, to like do it in a more structured way and meaningful way, so that the student are actually aware um, the things that we want to achieve in the classroom. So and what is the relationship uh, w- of all these things with increasing their academic achievement, because I think at the end of the day everybody wants to always talk about their academic achievement, right? And so that really changed my point of view and my teaching philosophy, that I really want to use that cultural aspect um, as a core of my teaching values, and use it as an opportunity to not just increasing their cultural identity, but also how to use that as a tool to improve their academic achievement as well.
Well, what attracted me was the term that you use, culturally relevant social emotional learning. I've heard of social emotional learning. I mean, it's actually there's been workshops being done on SEL in Malaysian settings, but I've never encountered culturally relevant SEL before. So that's quite intriguing. So how about you, Afika?
Okay, I would say I agree with Ariel in the sense that we need to have, or I myself need to have more culturally relevant aspect in my pedagogical values in the classroom, because of in terms of diversity, I do understand that the US really emphasizes on the need and the importance of having diversity, but Malaysia is a diverse country as well. We come, I mean, like everyone comes from different backgrounds. We have like a multi, not to say multinational, but we are a multiracial country. So in my, for example, where I teach, I do have some orang asli, or the aborigines. I do have some Indians, I do have some Malays, I do have some Chinese. And the fact is, we know that we are all from these backgrounds, but sometimes we only know the surface knowledge about all these people. So, for example, just the other day, and we do know that because of these differences, we have different celebration, we have different holidays, we have different um, engagements to it. So the other day for Pera, we don't have this holiday for Pongal celebration, but I do know that some of us do celebrate that. But and in in my own classroom, where I am the class teacher of, we have two Indian students out of 23, and one of them celebrated the event, the festive, I mean like the festival, but the other one did not, which raised a question. So, funnily enough, and not that because we are not very sensitive people. It's just that, we are not aware of everything. So it turned out that one of them did not celebrate, and the reason being was because there has been a death in the house before the celebration. So the family, the entire family, did not celebrate the event. So that's like one restriction to celebrating the event. So those things actually play a role. And even though it sounds very small, I think that's how we learn and accept and know each other's background, and have more empathy to one another. And so I agree with Ariel in that sense. Like, such trivial thing can mean so much to someone else. And despite us having, the surface level of knowledge and awareness, but if we dig further, we could, understand other people better. And I would like to relate my answer to the second question to my first question, which is the incorporation of technology, because I believe that that's one aspect that I can explore further and in line with what Malaysia has to offer in the future. So, like, different sites, different warm up activities prone by technology, perhaps. I would say that.
I do think that is somehow culturally relevant as well, because you take into the students' emotions, and also in relating to what the student cannot celebrate due to a death in the family. Yeah, I do think that is part and parcel of culturally relevant SEL. But correct me if I'm wrong, Sharil.
Yes, yes. I think that's what it is.
Okay, okay, yeah, amazing. So, Africa, you mentioned about technology, like incorporating technology into the classroom. So, is this the methodologies or strategies that you would like to implement in your classroom? I mean, the things that you learn in the US.
Oh, I would say because the lessons there are conducted entirely um, based on technology, and in Malaysia, we some schools may have that, but like in my case, I don't have that. I mean, I do have, but for me or for the teachers at my school to fully utilize technology, we have to book their rooms. We have to go somewhere with stronger internet connection. Like, there are specific rooms to go to for us to fully utilize the facilities such as computers, internet connection, and probably Chromebooks and netbooks. So I do have limitations in terms of that, but that is something that I can, advocate about. I would say so. But there are if we but yeah, there are also warm up activities that we can do without the incorporation technology that I learned of. There are many. I would say Sharil also learned many, activities, interesting activities, language activities. I mean,
Yeah, I think for us teachers, we need to be innovative and
mm-hmm.
to make do with what we have, so that
Yes, sure.
our students can still have an enriching learning
Yes.
experience. Yeah, I think that's what we should do, despite the lack of
Also,
resources and all that. Yeah.
may I just add something? I do
Yeah.
have one I really forget to mention. One
Okay.
aspect that I would really love to engage in and further explore would be to producing more global citizens. I would love for that to happen because I teach in a rural area, and I think that there has to be like an ongoing effort to producing more global citizens in terms of mindset, attitude, beliefs, and so on.
Yeah, I think within a globalized world that we're living right now, I think that is one of the things that we should impart in our students. The even though you're in the rural area, you can do in some ways that would encourage them to become global citizens. Yeah. All right. So, okay. So we talked about cultures. So now, okay, because the Fulbright TEA program often involves interaction with diverse cultures, because I do believe that you were in the same university as teachers from all over the world, at least in 20 different countries. How has this cross-cultural experience influenced your understanding of diversity, and how do you incorporate these perspectives into your classroom? I think uh, just now we talked about global citizen, so I think Africa, you can elaborate more on that.
Third question, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. In terms of producing more global citizens, in terms of in terms of mindset, beliefs, attitude, and whatnot, I do believe that collaborations play a very vital role in gearing towards such goal. So when we talk about collaboration, even though before going international, we can start local, by having collaboration between, for say for myself and Ariel, we did some collaborative projects together before we went to the US, and we can extend such collaboration with other people from the alumni, and after that we can go global by engaging our alumni from our own university from the Fulbright program, and when we during the end of the program, we got to meet everyone from the program, so people from the different countries, and we exchange our contacts and whatnot. So some of us, I do believe that we do have plans to have some like video conference with one another, some projects virtually done with one another. So that's one way I would say. And also, I do believe we also have sites where we can interact with one another, such as Padlets, online dictionaries that we build up on our own, and we can share, like for example, the different languages in one site, different wishes, and all those things. So that's one way to do it, I would say.
Okay, thank you for that, Afika. That's very interesting. I guess you mentioned about doing virtual conferences. I think nowadays with Google Meet and Zoom, it's very possible to do global interaction with students from different countries. Yeah, and as well as the teachers. Okay, Shaharil, how about you? So, so how has this cross-cultural experience influenced your understanding of diversity, and how do you incorporate these perspectives into your classroom?
Okay, so there are two things that I would like to talk about this. The first one is the diversity in America. First of all, and then I would like to talk about my like personal experience um, with the other teachers from many parts of the world, and something that I really learned um, the from the duration of our stay in Georgia. Um, so whenever I have the chance, I always say this to people. I think I was very lucky to be sent to Georgia State University and to be in Georgia itself because um, as we know the history about Martin Luther King Jr., that is the birthplace of this very historical figure. And if you want to talk about like one of the like historical and very significant a point in time in history in American education, when we talk about civil rights movements, mostly it started in Georgia. And in fact, there are many the historical places in the downtown of the city. It's actually very close with where we stayed in our hotel when we were there. So it's like the whole place is like very historical. Like the moment you step out from your hotel or the moment when you step out from your lecture classes, and you will see it for yourself. You will experience the diversity that we talked about in American society if you're in Georgia. So that really so from what we talked about in the classroom and from everything that I saw for myself outside of the classroom, it really made me reflective of my own community. It really made you to be conscious and self-aware of um, your own issues and problems that you have in your own country in conjunction to whatever you see in America. So it really was like a significant personal experience that I had in my life when I was there for the 7th week, learning about all these issues, and you really see um, there are a lot of things that can be improved back home and in our system, in our community, in the things that we um, can do to improve a lot of things. So that was about the diversity. So it really made me think about our own versions of diversity in Malaysia. And so, secondly, I think to meet all the other teachers from many parts of the world, I think also one of the most important part of the program, and that also was quite of a self journey for myself, because it's not easy to be friend so quickly in just a very short time. You will face challenges and you will learn new things, and some of them could be intimidating, for example, and then you will learn more about yourself on how you can um, adjust and I would say maybe survive, for the 7th week. You will learn how to make friends. You will learn how to maybe be quiet and not to say things when you feel like you really wanted to. All of things like everyday life and everyday things that we encounter when we socialize in our everyday life. So that really taught me um, a lot of things um, about people of the world in general. You thought you know things about African continent, for example, but when you really talk to the real people, it really changed your perspectives about a lot of things. So you never know about all these things until you actually talk to them and exchange your views and informations about a lot of things. So that really kind of like a growth, I would say, that I really came back with a different um uh, perspectives. A lot of things has changed, and you feel like you want to um do a lot of things. It just like give you that energy to do a lot of things. So the first thing that I did when I came back, um I think, I'm not sure if it was like a coincidence or anything like that. My students came up to me and complained about racism, actually, in the classroom. So I thought racism didn't happen in in Sabah, for example, because we thought we always respect each other and live with our differences and all that. But racism actually does happen in its own version here in Sabah, and my student actually talked about that, because of we sometimes have stereotypes towards each other, and we thought it's like a fun maybe jokes that students think it's okay to say or do in the classroom without realizing that maybe maybe a group of like ethnics in the classroom felt like marginalized, or they feel like they are not safe to be in the classroom. So I said, okay, so let's do this. So I did things like dialogue circle. So dialogue circle is one of the activities that you can do under social emotional learning, where students will express themselves, talk about um, issues. It's like a safe environment where they are allowed to talk about things without being judgmental and all that. So it was really quite an experience for me myself as an educator, to see the students um, talk about things where they don't usually do, and for them to talk about issues like racism, for example, and then for them to have that awareness and understanding at the end of the discussion, for example, and then they realize something that, oh, so that could be racism, where they thought it could be just like harmless jokes, for example. So um, that is that's the so this awareness and this idea that I got when I did that classroom activity definitely came from all the experiences that I got from the TA program. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, Sharil. I really liked, there's a when you talk about growth. Yeah, I from your story, I do notice that there is a growth in the sense that what you experience in the United States, among all the different the teachers from different countries, and then and you said about what you what you read about this type of person in this continent is different than when you actually speak to them face to face. Yeah, it is actually different. And then what's also interesting is that the idea of dialogue circle. Yeah, I really like that. It's like you address this issue of racism with your students by doing a dialogue circle instead of just telling them off like don't be racist. That's not nice. Instead of doing that, you did this dialogue circle whereby it's a process of learning for the students, for them to discover themselves, for them to for themselves to be aware that okay, racism is actually not good. Yeah, so I that was very interesting. And you said about providing them a safe space for them to talk about it, to address it, and after that they will have a change of behavior and not doing that anymore. Yeah, so that was quite interesting. Okay, so the next question. All right. In what ways did the Fulbright TEA program contribute to your professional development? And how have you implemented your newfound knowledge and skills upon returning to your home institution? I think this is similar to the previous question, but perhaps there are more that you would like to share. Yeah, Sharil, you can go first.
Um, yeah. So I am aware that one of the requirements of this program, um, when you return, they actually expect you to become teacher leader, and so um, upon my return, I reached out to the SIC officer in my district and say I would like an opportunity for me to share my experiences and everything else that I learned at a district level. And I actually did one program on that. So I managed to talk to um, a group of teachers in my district, and we did all the classroom activities, and also I talk a little bit on cultural relevant teaching and social emotional learning and all that. So that is my achievement so far. uh, and then I also I really would like to create a little community in the districts where I can continuously talking about cultural these cultural things. So I don't want it to be just like a one-off thing and then we forgot about it. So I would really would like to like create a sustainable community where maybe I can use that to um, collaborate and do activities on this cultural topic. Yes, but so I have a group already, but it's just at the very beginning. It's still very new, and I'm actually still don't know. There's no concrete planning behind it, so I'm just like doing it oh, it's like a like spur of the moment, just like you do it when you have all the excitement and all that before it all dies and gone. So I have little things to be done. I mean, it's already in place. It's just that I need the energy to continue to do more of that. Um, so I think I hope I answered the question. Did I answer that question? Yeah.
Yes, yes, you did. And so I think yeah, one of the things that when we go to another country, I mean, under a scholarship or fellowship, I think yeah, one of the things that when we come back, we need to contribute back to our community. We cannot just simply just go there and then learn, and you don't share it to your own school or your own district. So what you did was very amazing, and it's about culturally relevant teaching. I would like to know more about that actually. But yeah, before that we move on to Afika. So how about you, Afika? In terms of how has the program contributed to your professional development, and how do you implement whatever you learn during the program back to your own school or maybe your district or maybe your state? Yeah.
One of the things that I learned during the program is doing or having more action research done in terms of how we can further improve our pedagogical knowledge or strategies. So one way to do it is by having more and more action researches, and like Ariel said, I think we share the same syllabus probably because we are encouraged to become teacher sorry what's the term, teacher leaders. So one way to do it is to have more and more action researches. So I would love to take up the challenge and have it done, but I haven't got the chance to do it because I would say my timeline would start probably during the new school term, because when we got back, it was the trial SPM trial exams, and I had other engagements. But before the program, I did take part in the state level program, uh, in which I help out applicants to, uh, to get to know more about the application process, the interview process, and how, I don't know, probably based on my experience, because I got selected by then, how you could ace the interview, or how you could ace the selection process. So I did that before going. And upon arriving, I think Sharil and I, we both did a sharing session with Fulbright, and also I approach, I give personal feedback to future Fulbrighters. They are now in the US. Just like what you did to me and Ariel, just so you know, or just so the listeners know, I did get a lot of feedback, a lot of responses, a lot of help from Zell and other alumni, other Fulbright members. So yeah, I'm just like continuing what you're doing, and I think this should be this is a good cycle, of helping one another. So we connect, and perhaps we can collaborate more in the future. Yeah. And also, I am looking forward, and I exchange information with the other Fulbright. In my case, my university alumni, uh, in getting the word around about future programs, future scholarships that you can apply, that uh, you can take part in, and you can be part of. So that's one way. And all this while, I think I've been doing just a small sharing session with my school teachers.
Yeah, I think the two of you, uh, of course, when you come back, you have to have that sense of becoming a teacher leader in your own way. Like for Sharil, you had a workshop, or maybe a sharing session on culturally relevant teaching with your own district, and that shows that you are a teacher leader. And for Africa, you shared about you are helping to lead the way for other teachers to apply for the program. So that is also a form of teacher leadership. And yeah, and so Africa, you said about like sharing about applying for this Fulbright T program, right? So this podcast is actually also one way to inspire the teachers who will be listening in, on wanting to go to the US, and also to improve their teacher professional development. And so you talked about action researchers. I think it's like you are scaling your knowledge to other teachers so that they can also implement what you've learned, and also so that they can implement what they have learned in their own teaching context. And the same goes for Sharil, I think. Yeah, for in the case of culturally relevant teaching. So we hope that there will be a ripple effect, from you, from one teacher to another. Yeah. Okay, so for the last question. Okay, what message or advice would you like to convey to fellow educators who may be considering international fellowships, such as this one, Fulbright TEA, or seeking to enhance their teaching practices through global experience. Because I do know that for us, we have the opportunity to either go to the US or South Korea. I know there's another program, Comtep. Yeah, but I think you guys just can talk about Fulbright TEA. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the first important thing I would like to say is find a mentor. Find a mentor, reach out to a mentor or an alumni. It's very important because this person will not just guide you on the process of the application, but also will also be a cheerleader behind you who will motivate you to actually finish the application, because that's what actually happened to me. So I have a friend who was also an alumni from a different program, and he pushed me actually to finish with the application. And had I not um, done that, I think I would regret it, and um, miss the life changing opportunity actually. So find a mentor and believe in yourself. I think most people, when it comes to programs like this, they always think that they don't have what it takes, so they feel like maybe, oh, it's not for me. Maybe like it's only for maybe a group of excellent teachers, for example. But you never know if you haven't tried. So believe in yourself on that, and then apply. You will never regret it. Yes.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah. Okay, how about you, Africa? Any advice? Yeah.
The same, go for it. Don't give up. And in my case, it was purely coincidental for me because I just came across the link and I started applying. It was just like a sort of a tryout. But what I would say is to not give up. Like, I know it's a lengthy process. In fact, I've been saying this a lot during my sharing session with the state applicants from Perak. Uh, and the questions that I kept on getting was, how did you get it done? Because in our case, it's a Fulbright TEA program. I would say it's a lengthy process because first you have okay, I'll just share it here. Back in our time, we have to apply and we have to answer a few questions, few essays. Then if you get selected, you will get shortlisted for interviews. Then after the interviews, you will have to sit for TOEFL. Then everything from the beginning will be reviewed by the board, by IREX, the US department. Then only you will be chosen. But here's the thing: the part where you apply, in terms of writing essays and whatnot, if you give up midway, that would be the end for you. That's one thing. Another thing would be is when once you get the green light from the first part, you still have to motivate yourself not to be discouraged, because you have to go to seek your principal's consent, and you do have some official documents that you need to settle and to manage. So please don't give up midway. So I think that's my advice, and go for it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, thank you for that, Avika. Yeah, I think what most of us experience, the same goes for me the last time when I applied back in 2022. Yeah, so it was, I think our shared experience is that we had imposter syndrome. Yeah, and we lack the confidence. We always think that, okay, maybe this is not for me, I won't get it. Yeah, I also had that kind of feeling, but I just went for it, finished the application and wrote everything relating to what I have contributed to education or to my community. And also, I think for those of you who are applying, I think one of the mindset that you need to have is that once you come back, what can you contribute to your country or maybe just your little district or your school, and how can that enhance? How can your experience or what you learn can enhance your students' learning experience. Yeah, so that is one of the things that I would say lah. And also, don't just go because you want the name as a Fulbrighter, because being a Fulbrighter means you are going to be change makers. You don't just come back and do nothing, right? So you need to come back and contribute to your country in any way that you can. Yeah, so that's the sort of mindset that I have once I came back, you know. So and one of the initiative is through this podcast. All right. Yeah. Okay. So that was the last question. So thank you, Syaharil and Afika. Spending time with us. Spending time with me to talk about your experience, and also how sharing how others can also apply and what kind of mindset that they should have when applying. So thank you for your experiences, and so I think that is all for now. Until we meet again,
All
goodbye.
right.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
for
much
having
for
me again.
inviting us.